I've never done anything like this before. I was scrolling through my phone the other night and I back up all my photos and videos to Google Photos. I have done that for years, so I can scroll back and I can go back to like high school if I wanted to. But I was looking through some photos. Sometimes I'll just go in there. I want to see like videos of my kids when they were really young, and my wife and I would just sit and just laugh and just reminisce. And so I came across this video that I recorded six or 7 years ago. It was me in my kitchen. You'll hear my kids off to the side. They were, I don't know, 8, 10 months old. I can't remember, but I guess if it was 6, 7 years ago, they would have been just over a year. So I'm sitting in my kitchen, and this was like 5 months into my first business. And so for a lot of you who don't know, I used to run a marketing agency. It was called Media Crate. I quit my job working for another agency to start my own company. And at the time, like, I spoke a lot about Michael Gerber's The E-Myth, and it talks about people that do this thing. They have what's called an entrepreneurial seizure, where they're working for someone and they think that they can do it better than them, or they don't need them, and they go out and they do it. And then they start this business and they go on and keep, doing it, is what Michael says, meaning that they're doing the delivery, they're doing the sales, they're doing the bookkeeping, they're doing the marketing, they're doing everything under the umbrella. They're doing the hiring, they're doing all the customer service, they're doing the IT, they're just keep doing it. And they realize that when they start this journey, they think it's gonna look like one thing. They start their business for freedom, for a certain lifestyle they're trying to achieve, for more time, and they get into it and they realize very quickly, if they're not well equipped and if they haven't planned, then they're gonna experience the exact opposite of what that is. So anyways, back to the video. I was watching this video and it just hit me, because this was 5 months in to quitting my job, having 2 little kids at home, having a mortgage, having 2 car payments, a wife that was working from home as well, and just so many reasons why this shouldn't have worked, why I shouldn't be here today. And I wanted to share that with you. And again, I've never done this before. I'm gonna be a bit vulnerable today, because it was difficult to watch, but it was also really encouraging, because, and you'll hopefully see that in the video, but everyone thinks that me and my wife are so lucky, or we hear things like, oh, we could never do that. You guys are so amazing. And they see what we're doing now, and it's like, how did you guys do that? And so I wanna share a little bit of my story, a little bit behind the scenes. I'm gonna play the video here for you. I may stop a couple times just to comment on it, but the reason I wanna share it is because it's still so relevant to today, what we experience today, how we live today, and it's just so encouraging. And the eeriest part about this video is that it's like the me back then, 7 years ago, was talking to Marquis now, talking to future Marquis. And so I wanted to share that with you. But here it is. Comment what you think, but here we go. So I just put something on Instagram, basically explaining what's been going on the past 5 months. And 5 months ago, I actually quit my job. I was working for an agency, and the agency, I thought I was gonna spend a lot more time there than I did. Ended up only spending about 8 months, which, thinking back to it, was the best 8 months I could have invested in my life, and the worst at the same time. I thought I was gonna spend a lot longer there, and I thought I was gonna build and grow with that team, and it just didn't make much sense. And yeah, I just felt like I was coming home every day and I was just defeated. I was just, sad. I was just blue. And the goal was not to stay there forever. I mean, wife and I had other plans, but yeah, we were there, and then it just didn't make sense to stay anymore. I'd leave in the morning and I was just dreading going in, and I knew that I didn't make this jump into this new career to feel that way. And so I came home one day and I remember talking to Talita, and she kind of said, what if you just left? I'm thinking, I can't leave because of this, and that, right? Car payments, mortgage. I mean, we have 2 kids. There's stuff you gotta take care of. I'm just recording a video, baby. Are you all done? The reason we had made that jump was so that we could be home with our kids, so that we could be there to raise them together and be a part of, you know, their life and their experiences. And if I was going to spend my time in an office working for somebody else, then I was going to be spending that time and enjoying that time. And now, I will say at this point, for some context, I had been freelancing after I left my corporate job while I was home with my kids. I took 7 months off work, not knowing that I wasn't going to go back to that job. And then I started freelancing and then connected with this agency, which is how I started working with them. But the deal was that I was freelance. I was going to be making my own hours, and I had other clients that I'd started building up over that time. And eventually they offered me a job. They wanted to bring me in-house. And so I said, hey, I've got 2 kids at home. I need to be at home. My wife is at home by herself with these babies. I need to be there. So I will work from home and come in when you need me. I'll be at client meetings. I'll go to shoots. I'll go gather content, but I'm gonna be at home. So I said, yeah, no problem, do that, yeah, of course. And then bit by bit, it started to become a problem for them. I would come in on Mondays and then I'd be off Tuesday, and not off, but home on Tuesday. And so I was doing this like every other day thing where I'm in the office, but like being in the office meant that I had my headphones on, no one talked to each other. My boss sat in the cubicle next to me. I did my own work. I didn't talk to anyone. I went out, met with clients. I did my own thing. I was running my own business inside of this agency, essentially. And they asked me to be here, you know, every other day. And then it was every single day, but Fridays I could take half day. And then they eventually said, hey, we need you here in office full time. And my boss actually said to me, I know you're not working while you're at home. Yeah, let that sink in. I know you're not working while you're at home. And I won't get into the details in this video, but that was it for me. And it was around this time that I started feeling this way. And it's when I said, hey, I didn't get into this to start feeling this way. I got into this so I could be home. This was my freedom. It was to be there with my kids, be there with my wife, and enjoy our time together. So just wanted to fill you in with that context there. Feeling like I was growing with that team, and none of that was happening. I was basically on my own, working for a boss that didn't even know what my job was, didn't know what I did every single day, but just knew that I sat in a desk and there was things that I did that involved the internet and social media. And so we decided to make the jump. And I remember just my heart sinking when Talita said, you know, what if you didn't need to be there? What if you didn't need to go in? And it was hard to hear, but we knew at that time, like, that was the right time to do it, because we were waiting. We were waiting for the right amount of money to be in the bank account. We were waiting for, you know, the right amount of time to pass at this job so I would have some more experience. We were waiting for the new opportunity to come along we're waiting for the right opportunity to come along from some other job, from some other employer that was gonna be the thing that we were gonna do next. And I remember in the weeks leading up to me resigning, I was reaching out to, you know, some old, you know, colleagues and some networking partners that I had gotten connected with over that year, and, you know, basically saying, hey, this is where I'm at. We had talked about this. I'm looking to join, excuse me, I'm looking to join a new team. I'd love to sit down and talk a bit more. And in every case, it wasn't a no, but it was a not right now. Let us know. Happy for you. Keep our ears peeled. Or is it eyes peeled? I never know. Ears open, eyes peeled. And I was good with that. I was good with that because I had made those connections. Those people knew where I was at, and I was actively on the job hunt. And then I thought to myself, I have the skills, the knowledge, the experience, the drive, the organization, the business sense and acumen to basically do this for myself. Because that's what I'd been doing for the past 8 months. I was working for this other company. But everything that I was doing day to day, running my schedule, talking with clients, planning, project management, it was all basically just me. And I thought, why do I need someone else? Why do I need someone else to validate my existence? Why do I need someone else to pay my mortgage? Why do I need someone else to give me job security? And it was at that moment we decided to take matters into our own hands, and so glad we did. I mean, I can't even imagine now going in and interviewing for a position. I can't imagine going in asking someone for a job, because now I'm the person that employs. I'm the person that has built my small team, has built my client base, where I don't need to ask anyone for anything, right? And I get it, it's 5 months, I'm optimistic, but I knew at that time that if I had the time and the resources to invest to build this company, that it would grow. And it has grown. And there is nothing that is going to stop me from continuing along that same path, continuing to grow. Because why would I? Why would I? And that's not to say that it hasn't been hard. It's been hard. It's been really tough. But when we had set goals for where we needed to be in 3, 6 months, a year, I mean, we're approaching 6 months now, and we reached our 6-month goals within the first month. I replaced my income from my old job within the first month. And what was I scared of? What was I afraid of? I was afraid of not having enough. When the truth of the matter is, I've always had enough, and we will always have enough. And I was tired of being scared and letting someone else run my life. And all I needed to do was take that jump. And I owe it to my wife, my partner, for encouraging me to do that, for trusting in us and trusting in just this process, right? So we're not gonna stop. I mean, we have the time, we have the resources, and anyone who works from home, runs a business, employs people, has small kids, they know it's not easy. It's not easy. But those kids over there, the ones that you've heard this entire time in this video, they're the reason why we did this. They're the reason why I'm sitting in this kitchen right now at 8:15 in the morning, and I'm not worried about getting showered and dressed and ready to go drive and do a commute and go sit in an office for 8 hours. They're the reason. And as long as they're here and they need me, I'm gonna keep doing what I need to do to provide and to live this life that we've crafted out for ourselves and we've been dreaming about for so long. So to all the people that are scared, to all the people that are unsure, to all the people that, have to wake up every day and go into the job that they hate and that are thinking about something better, I just urge you to do something about it. Maybe quitting your job isn't the first step, but if it's spending some more time in your evenings working on that special project, or, hey Jude, sit down please, buddy, that's not safe. Or if it's waking up an hour earlier every morning to read that book, to write that blog post, to work on that business plan, whatever it is, just do it, just start it. Trust me, take it from someone who's been there, who's been scared, who's been unsure about what tomorrow holds. It gets better. It's better on the other side. It's better. So that's your encouragement for today. Do with it what you will. There it is. Still so hard to watch that. And I say it's hard because you heard me in there, right? Like, I'm optimistic. It was only 5 months. Anything could have happened. And there were lots of times after that. I mean, at the time of this recording, I just shared a video about when I was running this business, the marketing agency, and I lost my first big client. That was really scary. I said I replaced my income, and it was because I got this big client that I was able to replace my income and fill in the gaps. So it was really scary. And why I say it's hard to watch this is because sometimes when I look back at those photos and those videos of me, there are pictures where I'm holding my kid at my desk, or I'm at the table during COVID and my kids are doing online learning. At any point, I was like 1 or 2 clients away from not making it, from like my business imploding. I had people that I employed, I had bills, I had insurance, I had all these things. I had our family to take care of. My wife wasn't working at the time, and she was starting her own design business and working with brands and doing other like design stuff and online stuff through her blog. So she was working, but it wasn't at the same, you know, capacity that we really needed, right? Like we were struggling, but we were doing okay because again, we always had enough. But to think that if I lost one client, if I lost another client, like that could have been it, then it's like, who am I to my kids? Who am I to my wife? You know, what have I accomplished? This person, my wife, Talita, that loves me and trusts me and supports me and believes in me and has supported me for years leading up to this. If this doesn't work, what happens next, right? Do I eat my words? Do I go and apply for a job? Do I go back to this agency with my tail between my legs? Like what do I do? And it's not like I hadn't tried that. I tried applying for other jobs before doing this. I tried looking for something else. I tried for a long time, but I knew that I had to trust in myself, and it was because my wife encouraged me to do this thing. She said, we're gonna be okay, right? She was doing her thing, I was doing my thing. We were bringing everything together. But when like I think about what was in our bank account at that time, there's no way we should have been able to survive. There's no way we should have been able to pay our mortgage. There's no way we should have been able to make our car payments. So we never missed a thing. We never missed a thing. We never wanted for anything. I remember there was I opened up an Excel spreadsheet and I was like putting my budget together, and I had client A, client B, client C, and like one client was paying me, you know, $750 a month. One client was paying me $350. One client was paying me $1,000. And like, that was a lot of money back then when you're just starting out. But I remember like our like number, like what I was bringing in every month. If you want to say it, I'll say it. There's no way that we should be here right now. And so that's why it's so hard to watch this video. But that day, I still remember my kids were like literally like playing on the floor beside us. I came home after another day at this agency and I'm just like, I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back. I was sick of it. I was so over them. I felt betrayed. I felt lied to. I felt taken advantage of. And she looked at me and she just said, what if you just quit? And like, to hear those words, to hear those words from your partner when you're faced with like uncertainty, that's a special kind of love. That's a special kind of love. I've never told anyone this before. We joke about it all the time, but when I was in university, I had a little beat up hoopty car. It was a 1991 Acura Integra. I bought it off some guy. It was lowered, modified, big wheels. It was loud as anything. That thing was a rust bucket, but it got me to where I needed to go. I was working a part-time job at the time, and my wife or girlfriend at the time was working full-time for a company, you know, doing really well. And I was struggling. I was a struggling broke student, and I was driving like how many 100 plus kilometers, 120 maybe kilometers every single day back and forth. I would start at 8 o'clock in the morning. Okay, I'll get back to that. I started at 8 o'clock in the morning. I would drive from Ajax to Mississauga. I would like get there and I'd like sleep in my car before class started, and then I'd go and I'd do my school thing for the day, and then I would get back in my car and I would drive back to Ajax in rush hour traffic, and I'd work my part-time job from like 5 until 10, and then from 10 o'clock I would drive to another part-time job, and I'd work from 10:30 p.m. until 7 a.m. This was at a grocery store, doing my schoolwork behind the cash register while I'm like stocking shelves on the overnight, and then at 7 o'clock in the morning, that's when I'd get on the road and go back to school, and I would do that 5 days a week. And again, struggling student. I was paying for school at the time. I was trying to put gas in my car and I didn't have enough. Talita, my girlfriend, gave me her debit card and said, whatever you need, whatever you need. I was putting gas in my car to get to school. I was buying breakfast. I was buying lunch. I was buying dinner because I just didn't have it. She supported me through all of that. So again, special kind of love. I love you so much. And so to hear those words from her and to know that she was going to be supporting me through all this, just no words. I have no words. And Jude and Luca, I mean, I said it in the video, like, you guys are the reason why I do this. I do everything. I did this. I left that job because my ideals of what freedom looked like didn't align with what my boss wanted me, didn't align with what my boss thought this season of my life should look like. And so if you guys are watching this, I meant it then, I mean it now, it will never change. I love you guys with everything that I have, everything. There's nothing that I wouldn't do for you, nothing. I know you guys have been so patient with me. You've been so understanding. So many times where you asked me to come play with you, and I always seem to have one more call or one more thing I had to do, or on the weekend when I had my computer open and I had to get some work done because I was doing it. You guys were so patient with me, so understanding. Say things like, Dad, I know you have to work. It's okay. It's okay, Dad. You can play with me later. I can't thank you enough for that, guys. And I love you. I love you so much. And I want you to know that your dad worked hard, is working hard, and doing this for you. And to see this video, to hear your voices in the background, to know that you've been there and you've seen the ups and the downs, and you still want to hang out with me and call me dad and love me, I just can't thank you enough for that. So yeah, if you're out there and you're watching this and you're considering making a change, or you're fed up with the job, my simple words, my simple advice is do something about it. Do something about it. What I didn't say in the video is that from the time that Talita said, why don't you quit, until when I actually quit, it was probably 3 or 4 months. Like I said, I had some other small clients I was working with. I invested in a coach. I actually called up someone that I really respected and looked up to, had built and sold multiple businesses. And I said, hey, I just need some help with this. He would sit with me every morning. We get up at 5 in the morning. We'd be on calls. We'd be working through my goals. What do we got to do to get you to the next stage? What do you got to build? Who do you have to contact? What's your company name? What is the logo going to look like? I started drafting these pictures of the logo for the company. I bought the domain name. I hired a designer. I had things set up before I quit my job. And as I was making this transition, I reached out to another friend. I'll say his name because I just owe so much to this individual. His name is Kyle Dutka. He runs PB&J. They're our Shopify e-commerce agency. And I reached out to him because I had been watching all of the gurus online, all the people that, all the, what do you call them? Just the bros, oh, you just gotta get clients and, buy my course and, you can live this lifestyle with Lamborghinis and big houses and trips. And I'm like, that's not me. You see what I looked like day to day, right? That was my uniform. That was unless I was going to a meeting or doing a talk, that was my uniform. I was at home just on the computer behind my little tiny desk. And I needed to hear from someone who I trusted and respected. Kyle is also a dad to twin girls. And so I wanted to hear from someone who had actually been in my shoes, who had done the thing already to get advice from. So I was having all these conversations. I was doing research. I was doing so much. And this was evenings. This was weekends. This was on my lunch break. I would leave the agency. I would drive to like the Metro grocery store. I'd eat my lunch in the parking lot, and I'd be watching YouTube videos or reading books. Like, I was working on this so that I could eventually leave, right? I wouldn't advise anyone to just quit their job, but do something about it. A friend of mine used to have a shirt. It said, "Don't do nothing," right? I think that's a Sting quote. Maybe I'm wrong, but don't do nothing. Don't just sit there and let your life pass you by. You want to make a change? Do the thing. It's going to be hard. It is going to be so hard. It's been so incredibly difficult. Talita and I have fought. We have cried. I have been the one that's been burnt out, who's lashed out at her, who's withdrawn, who's been cold and closed off and treated her unfairly. I've been short with my kids. I've done things in front of my kids that they will never forget, that they haven't forgotten. They've forgiven me, but there were so many times where I was not myself because this is so hard. So it's not for everyone. Entrepreneurship is not for everyone. It is not easy, but it is worth it. So long as you never give up and you learn from your experiences. That's the important part. I've learned so much throughout this journey. I've learned about who I am. I've learned about people. I've learned about how to manage people. I've learned about how to connect with people. I've learned about what it is to be a truly empathetic and supportive leader. And I hope I've done a good job. My staff will tell you otherwise, but don't do nothing. Try something, get out there, learn. It's gonna be scary. The hard things are gonna be scary, but the biggest rewards come from those scary moments, right? And it's incredible at every single point, at every single checkpoint or milestone, Talita and I have been able to look back and say, man, look what we came through. Look where God brought us through. Look how he provided for us. Look how he protected us. Look how, whether we trusted in him at that time or not, he didn't leave us. Jeremiah 29:11 is something that I have recited over and over again since my early adolescence, that, you know, there's this plan for a hope and a future that God has for me. And it was never just on him, right? I brought my concerns, I brought my thoughts to him, and he put the people in my way that would help me grow, that would help me level up. He put me in circumstances that were uncomfortable to see how I would face those situations, how I'd face those conversations. There were times when I was running this business where there was an individual, I'm not telling that story today, but there was an individual that was in my life that I thought was a friend, that I thought was someone that I could trust in, that at a certain point in life did everything that they could to try and ruin my life. And I don't say those words lightly. They tried to ruin my life. They infiltrated my family, my close friends, my church circles, my customers, my partners. They tried to ruin my life. It was Jan 1, 2021, 2022, where I got a phone call from a customer. All this stuff happened. I called up a friend. I was crying. I was bawling on the phone because of what this individual had did. And that carried on for months and months and months. None of this is easy, but it's worth it. And I say all that to say that, yeah, it's not easy. There are going to be times where you want to give up. Times where you want to just throw it in. I've thought about it so many times. I thought, why don't I just go get a job? Why don't I just, I'll go work overnight at the Tim Hortons. Like, I'll do whatever I have to do. I'll go to Home Depot. I'll do whatever I need to do, because I would do anything for my family. But here I am, 6, 7, 8 years later. I'm still going. I'm fighting through it. I'm learning. I have overcome. I have gone through the trials, I've gone through the fire, I've gone through the hard times. There will be more hard times, I'm sure of it. That for sure is certain, but it's the grit that you build up by experiencing these things. If I didn't have that experience of this person trying to ruin my life, I wouldn't be the person I am today. If I didn't have the fallout with other partners, with employers, with customers, if I didn't have those experiences, if I didn't go through the hard times, I wouldn't know what success looks like. I wouldn't be able to appreciate what I have now. I said in the video that everything that I set out to do within my first 6 months of quitting my job, I achieved in the first month. I look back now at the goals that I had 8, 9, 10 years ago, even when I was working corporate. I'm living my dream right now. Marquis 10 years ago, if he knew this person, if he knew this is what it would look like, he might have approached things differently, but I think he did the right things. He did the best he could with the knowledge that he had at the time, but I am successful compared to what I had at the time. If you want it, you go get it. You don't let anyone tell you different. Don't worry about what people say. They're gonna have opinions. Your friends, your family, they might say things. They might, oh, what are they doing? Why are they saying that? Who are they? And for the record, no one's ever said that to me. That's my inner voice, right? That's your inner voice. That's the thing that's gonna keep you from stepping out. It will be uncomfortable, but you owe it to yourself to try. You've got this one life to experience your dreams, so go get them. Thanks for watching.